Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. My name is Brother Zerubbabel,
My name is Esdras Elazar.
and we are children of Israel. Welcome back. Blessed Sabbath to you. We are here again on the Sabbath, bring out another lesson. Another, thing where, as we sometimes do, we'll follow a theme of lessons for a little while sometimes. Um, we did a lesson a few weeks back. Uh, dealing with the keeping of the commandments. We're going to continue on. Last week we dealt with commandment 1, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Today we're going to be dealing with part of commandment 2. We'll deal with the other part, Lord willing, next Sabbath. Um, Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. So we're going to do this in, two parts. Because most people don't seem to understand that the second commandment is a two-part commandment. We have, you know, a lot of people that seem to ignore the first part of it and deal with the second part of not bowing down to images. Where in the first part, we are told not to make images, period. Um, it's sad because the more, as far as myself, I watch um, certain camps, certain groups, especially lately, because there's been somewhat of a transition in the Israelite community where some camps have fallen by the wayside to a point. Other camps are being elevated up in a way, um, and not in a good way in a lot of these cases. Um, it's arrogance. That's what I'm seeing. Trying to find a word for it. I'm seeing and hearing a lot of pride and a lot of arrogance from several um, leaders or so-called leaders in the Israelite community, especially when it comes to dealing with certain doctrines. Like last night, one particular camp was holding a well, they what they were saying, they wanted to smoke from Christians. Any Christian come on and debate whether or not Christ is God. And it's sad because it's like a copycat mentality is what I'm seeing. Because certain camps may be going and debating Christians about whether or not Christ is God. I can understand debating the Trinity. Don't get me wrong, the Trinity, and not even really debating, just actually debunking it and showing how ridiculous the Trinity doctrine is. What I have an issue with is the fact that many of these men that call themselves to be elders in Israel, leaders in Israel, calling themselves um, priests and chiefs and all these big names, these elevated names, can't seem to understand a simple fact that Christ is the God of the Old Testament, is the one that was dealing with Israel. It's beyond me how some Christians can understand it, but these guys can't. And that's what I'm saying. The arrogance is coming in because it's so, you hear these guys talking like, well, we want to smoke. Any Christian, come on the live and, and debate. Christ, Christ God. We all know that Christ is not, he's not God. He's not the Most High God. He's the Son of the Most High God. And I was just shaking my head last night, just like, my gosh, how many more lessons, how many more precepts do you have to put out there in order for these guys to read and wake up?
Right.
And it goes that way with a lot of their doctrines. They're just so arrogant, in the way they're pushing, just pushing. Whether it's with the doctrine of multiple wives, which you're seeing a lot of right now, and it goes back again. A lot of these guys are more worried about um, trying to show people ways to get around the commandments rather than actually teaching and keeping the commandments. It's crazy. Um, so that's why we're going to continue to break down these commandments, teach them, preach them, uh, Lord willing, live them. Not to the best of our ability, but as He commands us that we are supposed to be perfect. He expects us to be perfect. So, with that, we're going to start off with Hebrews 5 and 12 through 14 as usual. Get right into it. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. And it can't be any clearer. You know what I mean? I don't understand how people can't read it and get a clear understanding of what it's talking about. All right, so let's go ahead and go there. Hebrews 5 and 12 through 14.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 5 and verse 12. For when for that time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
And that's why we constantly lead with this precept, because a lot of our brothers in this truth need to be retaught. And pride, the arrogance, that they're not willing to humble themselves and listen to reason. When the scriptures say what the scriptures say, that no matter what scriptures you or anybody brings out to prove that what they're teaching is false, that it's not right, they don't want to hear it. It goes in one ear and out the other, and they're gonna stand fast, stand tall, 10 toes down, as they call it, in holding to a lot of these doctrines that they're teaching. Um, and it's sad, you know what I mean? Because they're bragging and boasting about all the different camps that they're having pop up in their camp's name, here and there and all, in different cities. And it just goes to show you how gullible our people are, that they'll listen to these men and, be quick to want to throw on their colors, throw on their t-shirt. Um, in a lot of cases, this truth has basically replaced gang banging, which isn't a good thing. It could be, it should be, if they're truly having these men repent and teaching them sound doctrine. That would be a great thing if this truth is replacing gangbanging. But looking at the state of the Israelite community, that's not so, because a lot of these men in this truth are still carrying themselves like gangsters. And I've said it again, NWFs, niggas with fringes. That's what you see and hear out of the mouths of a lot of these men. And again, it's a sad thing. So the first principles, the oracles of God, is being retaught. Some of these men need to stay away from that meat and get back to this milk, get back to these basics, okay? Because they're proving time and time again that they're unskilled in this word of righteousness. And even though they can speak good, they got the gift of gab in many cases. Some of them are highly intelligent. And that's why it baffles me that with all their intelligence, they cannot seem to grasp the understanding of a lot of these scriptures. Okay. But again, verse 14, but strong meat belonging to them that are full age. What makes a person of full age? It tells you. Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. That's how you know a person is a full age. If you cannot discern the fact that having multiple wives is evil and not a good thing, you don't need you don't need to be messing with the milk. If you cannot discern that denying Christ as being God, um, the glory of Christ, you're denying it. You have no discernment of that being evil. You can you could have good and evils like right in front of them, and they cannot distinguish the difference. Um, and that goes with, like I said, many of the doctrines that a lot of these men are teaching. It's not just one or two or three doctrines that they're teaching. You listen um, to enough of their videos on different topics, and you will see that the majority of their teachings is just completely off. But they'll say the same thing about us. Oh, those guys are over there teaching Christ is God, saying Christ is the most high. And it's like, you know what? Go watch our videos. We got multiple precepts proving what we're teaching. You know what I mean? Hours long videos of what we're teaching. So by all means, go watch. And the only way you're going to be able to come against it is through your own vain opinion and your own pride and arrogance. That's it. You know what I mean? We had to humble ourselves and read and study and go, oh, wait a minute. What we was being taught was wrong. We're being told that Christ is not God. We're taught the same things being, starting off in this truth. But at some point, you got to start opening your ears and opening your mind, your heart, and listening to Christ. And that's what many of you are not doing. He says, my sheep hear my voice. And every day, many of these men are proving that they are not the sheep. They are not of the sheep. They could be. All it takes is some humility and a little bit of change. And many of them are not willing to do it. And it's a sad thing for our nation because we need our people to repent if we want to get out of here. Plain and simple. All right, so let's go to 1 Peter 2:2.
The book of First Peter, chapter 2, and verse 2. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby. You know what I mean? You're seeing these men out on the streets teaching with baseball caps on. You know what I mean? Wearing, their old street colors. I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? You're standing out there on the streets all the time and you're always constantly, for some reason, wearing red. I'm not dumb. You know what I mean? But I know what you're still trying to represent, or whatever colors the gang wore that you used to be a part of. And you're still out there repping their colors. You're still blatantly, letting it come out of your mouth, the praise and, glorification of your old gang life, which is not old because you're still living it. In some of these cases, I'm not dumb. You know what I mean? I see it. And again, having that discernment to distinguish the difference between good and evil. They don't care about disrespecting Christ by wearing a baseball cap while they're teaching, even though the scripture is crystal clear that a man should not be covering his head when he's praying or prophesying. But what about that just in case factor? Just in case, do you want to make it appear to Christ that you're disrespecting? Do you want to make it appear to his father that you're disrespecting him? Take the hat off. It's not, what is so hard about that? And that's, his commandments are not grievous. They're not hard to follow. A simple thing is, you know what? I don't even want to make it appear like I'm disrespecting my God. Let me take this cap off, man. Let me take it off. Women wearing pants, you know what I mean? You're seeing all these excuses for these men are giving for their wives and women in their congregations to be wearing pants. And I'm not stupid. All you have to do is just look at how they carry themselves and what they're lusting at. You know what I mean? Because again, their own mouths convict them. Look at what they're attracted to. They love seeing these women walking around in these tight pants, these tight yoga pants, these tight jeans. They're still out there chasing after women and lusting after women in some of these cases. So it's like, okay, again, now I see why you're teaching this particular doctrine and many of the doctrines that you're teaching. And you could go on and on. Like that, what is that, like 4 or 5 doctrines that I just mentioned just off the top of the head that many of these guys are teaching? And you could easily go into the scriptures and show that it's wrong. All right. So again, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby. Uh, Stop speaking so exceedingly proud. You know what I mean? And that's what you hear a lot coming out of the Israelite community. And it needs to stop. Again, that one question that needs to be asked is, what should we be doing to get salvation? And Christ told us plainly again in the scriptures over and over again. We're going to go to it again. Let's go to Matthew 19. You're going to be verses 16 to 19.
The book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 16. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. He said unto him, which Jesus said, Thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
All right. So Christ went on to tell them, keep the commandments. He asked which ones, and he started naming off some. How is this so hard to do? How is this so hard to understand? Many, again, of our brothers in this truth are teaching people to find, and it's funny because they go after the Christian churches about doing this, because we know the Christian churches are teaching our people to sin. But what about you in the Israelite community that are doing the same? Teaching our people to sin, teaching our people to go against this word, not just in your speaking, but by your actions. All right. Um, get that real quick in Matthew 5. Matthew 5 and 17, and read up to verse 20.
17 to 20 on
Yeah,
chapter 19.
Matthew 5. Go to Matthew 5 and read verses 17 to 20. I'm just throwing it in there real quick.
Perfect. The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven, but whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
All in red letters, what Christ is saying here is plain and simple. There's no misinterpretation. There's no way you could read this and misunderstand what he's saying. He says it plain. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. How are you teaching people to break the commandments? By the things you say and by your actions. By your actions. The Bible says not to cover your head, men, when you're prophesying or praying, and you got a hat on, baseball cap, or whatever kind of covering you got on. And then you teach men by your actions because they see you doing, especially newbies coming into the truth. They're new, they're newborn babes. And they see a person like, well, I see this, but they're wearing cap, ball caps all the time while teaching. So it must not be anything wrong with it. And you could be showing them like, no, this is what this says. And then they'll go watch one of their videos, say, no, no, no. But they say that, that's not what that means. They go into the Hebrew. So you got to go into the Hebrew. You got to go into the this and this and this. And not to say that there aren't times where you sometimes need to find out what some of these words mean in Hebrew. But you will find that what the word means in Hebrew means the same thing that it means in English. There's no difference. All right. So um, a lot of these men are teaching our people to sin, and nobody's calling them out on it. But we'll stand in front of Christians all day long and call them out. All right. And then it goes on to say, verse 19, but whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So we're supposed to be doing them along with teaching. We can't be a hypocrite in this truth. Everywhere you look in the scriptures, we're being told the same thing. If you're going to be a teacher in Israel, you best be doing the things that you're teaching. All right. Verse 20, for I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. And many of our brothers in this truth are rolling no different than the scribes and Pharisees did back in the day when they were, following behind Christ and challenging him, full of debate. You know what I mean? All they wanted to do was question everything and debate everything. And it's sad because you would think that they would read the scriptures, see how the scribes and Pharisees moved, take a self examination in the mirror and be like, oh, wait a second, you know what? I'm rolling the same way. I need to change. It's not happening. No humbleness, no humility. Again, just a lot of pride and arrogance um, when it comes to these scriptures. All right. So, again, Matthew 19, Christ was asked the question, what do we need to do to get eternal life? Or, in other words, to get the kingdom of heaven? And it was plain and simple, keep the commandments. Which commandments? We're going to go through them again. Let's go to Exodus 20. You're going to read verses 1 through 17. And this is just the start. This isn't, the end all be all of the commandments and laws that we got to keep.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless to take his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maiden servant, nor thy maid servant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maiden servant, nor his ox, or his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbors, and
All
all
right.
the people.
That's it. Just up to 17. So, this is what would be called, or what is called in the scriptures, the Ten Commandments. Okay. And you got Christian pastors that are telling people that you don't have to keep the Ten Commandments, which is crazy. All right. And I'm going to show you that, yes, they are called the Ten Commandments in the scriptures. Go to Exodus 34 and 28.
Which one?
It's not, I'm just throwing these in there. It's Exodus 34 and 28.
Exodus 34:28. The book of Exodus, chapter 34, and verse 28. And it says, and he was 34:28, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. That's
Uh,
it.
and he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tables of the words of the covenant, uh, the Ten Commandments.
The what?
The Ten Commandments.
So it is actually called the Ten Commandments in the scriptures. Go to Deuteronomy 4:13.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, in verse 13. And it says, "And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even the 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone."
All right, one more. Let's go to Deuteronomy 10 and 4.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 4. "And he wrote on the tables according to the first writing, 10 commandments which the Lord spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them unto me."
All right. So these first commandments that he spoke up on the mount to Israel is actually called the 10 Commandments in the scriptures. It's not something that because I've heard this before, that um, people say sometimes that, Christians made that up. There's no such thing as the 10 Commandments in reality. And it's like, no, actually there is. They are actually called the 10 Commandments in the scriptures. You can't, the only way you would not know that is if you haven't read, you know what I mean? That the 10 Commandments that were given are actually called 10 Commandments, because that's something that I had heard from years back, uh, that people would say, hey, they're not really 10 Commandments. You know what I mean? It's just something that they were called by men to kind of categorize them, and it's not until again I studied and like, wait a minute, hold on. Tell me that's another lie that I was taught, that it's right here in the scriptures that these are actually called the 10 Commandments. So God called them the 10 Commandments. So that's what they are called. They are called the 10 Commandments. All right. So just wanted to point that out. So if you ever come across somebody telling you that, that we don't have to keep the Big Ten, that's probably part of the reason why they're teaching something like that, is because they may have been told themselves in that, well, it's not really called the 10 Commandments because, it's just something somebody just made up to categorize them. They're not called the 10 Commandments in the scriptures. And so it's not looked at as a big thing. Um, and I've actually heard of other churches that have come up with their own 10 Commandments, made up their own, not even following the 10 Commandments of the Bible. But what we just read off in Exodus 20 and 1 through 17 is what the Bible calls the 10 Commandments. All right. We gave you 3 precepts that shows it and proves it. It's in the Bible. They are the 10 Commandments. There's nothing wrong with calling them the 10 Commandments. No, they were not made up just by some random person just to categorize them. All right. If you never heard that before, all praises. But I know that's something that I heard over years, that nobody had actually went back to see whether or not that was true or false. Like I said, in reading, like, wait a minute, 10 Commandments. Like, oh, we just told that that was not the Bible. Like, that's crazy. Like, hold on. So again, that's why we have to be retaught. We've got to relearn. All right. From here, let's go to the book of First Samuel, chapter 2, and you can read verse 2.
The book of First Samuel chapter 2 and verse 2. "There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none besides thee, neither is there any rock like our God."
All right. So why did I choose to put this in this lesson? For one, for people to understand that there is no other God as holy as our God. All right. And as it says, there is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. And this is another precept to go to and show you that the Lord, higher case again, Lord, there is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. And again, who is the rock? Who is this talking about? This is talking about Christ. It's calling our rock Christ our God. For those of, again, you Israelite brothers, our brethren, we pray for you. Stop denying. Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? It just can't even think of the words. You guys are denying Christ.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're denying his glory, the glory that his father gave him. And you don't get it. All right. Actually, read verse 3 also, because I mentioned that a second ago.
Verse 3 on 2 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 3. Talk no more so exceeding proudly, let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
All right. So that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the lesson when I'm saying that you're hearing so much pridefulness, so much arrogancy coming out of the mouths of some of our brothers when they're teaching, especially some of these bad doctrines that they're teaching. All right. And the scriptures is telling us clearly there is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. And you better wake up, because this is talking about Christ. All right. In fact, continue reading and read down to verse 7.
Verse 4. The bows of the mighty men are
Both.
the bows. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girded with strength. They that were full have hired. Hold on. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren had borne seven, and she that had many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and he lifteth up.
All right. So again, listen to the description of the Lord, capital letters. Again, this is talking about Christ. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. All right. So again, need to stop talking so proudly. Stop allowing all this arrogancy to come out of your lips. And we're saying this not because it's us talking. We're speaking the scriptures. All right. And I mentioned it at the beginning. And wanted to show you I'm not just talking. Got precepts to back it up. Because this is what we're seeing. This is what we're hearing. This is what we're noticing with several of the men that are teaching. And it's becoming so hard to watch videos now um, of some of these camps and some of these brothers, because it's like there's no real edification coming out when they're teaching. It's just more of debate, 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 debate. Um, and it's like, I don't feel like sitting here listening to you argue with all these other people to try and prove how superior your intellect is compared to theirs. edify me, edify us. You know what I mean? Teach us. You know, um, because again, you've heard me say it, and you've agreed with it too, that in every debate that I've ever watched and seen, except the one where IUIC debated that one so-called unbeatable Christian college, there was a clear winner. You get to IUIC, wipe the floor with them. But other than that, all these other debates and arguments that you see going on at the end of the debate, there is never a clear winner. Nobody from either, I have not seen it yet where somebody on the opposing side said, hey, you know what? I need to change my mindset. Yeah, they brought it out clear that, hey, we were wrong. Us on this side of the debate were wrong. We need to now, take on this as truth. I haven't seen it. It has not happened. So in reality, a lot of this debating, a lot of this arguing is fruitless. It's not serving any purpose because it's not changing anybody's mind. The only thing that's happening is at the end of the debate, both sides arrogantly are believing they won.
Right.
It's crazy. So let's continue on though. Let's go to Exodus 32, and you're going to read Exodus 32, verses 1 through 8, because we're going to get into the lesson about the making of images. And again, you hear some of our people that refuse to acknowledge this part of this commandment, that we were told not to make these images. We were told not to do it. Not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times in the scriptures, but we're going to show you precept after precept after precept after precept where the Lord is telling us the making of these images is evil. And that's again where strong meat belonging to who? Those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern the difference between good and evil. All right. So when you got it, let's go ahead and read.
Exodus, the book of Exodus, chapter 32 and verse 1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we what not what is become of him.
So they're
And
saying we
Aaron,
don't know what happened to him. He ain't came back. So give us another God. Go ahead.
and Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people break off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it into a molten calf. And they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink, and rose up to play. And the Lord said unto Moses, go, get thee down for thy people, which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupt themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of that way which I commanded them. They made them a molten calf and have worshipped it and have sacrificed thereunto and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
So when you read this, this should make it abundantly clear of why the Lord first told us not to make the images to begin with, and secondly, not to worship them, because the Lord fully understood the problem with the Israelites, with you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, a problem that still follows our people to this day. That we are so quick to turn out of the way of righteousness and get ourselves caught up in mischief, to be real quick to follow anything else that's not right there in front of us. Moses was gone. We were quick to be like, you know what? We don't know what happened to him. Oh, well, he's gone. Give us something new. Our enemies knows this about us. That's why they have no problems, no qualms with killing off our leaders, because they know that we're not going to care about that leader. You know what I mean? We may cry, we may, yell and scream for the time being, but they know that they'll give us somebody else. And we'll be happy with that. And we'll be quick to follow the next, follow the next. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, look at Malcolm X. Gone. Martin Luther King. Suddenly gone. Go on down the line. And what happened? Our people don't care. They just, and you see it even in the music industry, the entertainment industry, movie stars, rappers, singers. 1 second, our people are idolizing uh, one particular star. Okay, let's say it's Tupac. They get rid of Tupac, and quickly everybody, okay, Biggie. They get rid of Biggie. Then all of a sudden, okay, Jay-Z, Puffy, P. Diddy. The next big thing. Every time there's a new big thing, our people are willing to just follow whatever idol they put in front of us. Our people are susceptible to following idols and worshiping them. So to keep us from doing it, he said, don't even make them. Don't make them. Because I already know what you guys are going to do. And then you have those that, they want to point out in the scriptures that, yes, when the temple was being built, yeah, he gave Solomon permission to put certain idols in the temple when it was being built. I'm not Solomon. Are you Solomon? Because I'm not Solomon.
No.
All right. We are to rebuild the temple, but we're not building the physical temple. We're not supposed to be filling the temple of the Lord up with idols, with idolatry. And that's what a lot of our men are doing and don't even understand it. We're supposed to be building up the spiritual house, which are you Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we're filling our people up with a lot of idols, with a lot of idolatry. Okay. And in a lot of cases, it's no different than what you see going on in the world. They have a show. Is that show even still on, American Idol? I don't even know if it even still comes on, but people haven't even taken the time to think about that. Like, wait, they have a whole show called American Idol. American Idol, telling you that in this society, we are being taught to idolize things. whether it's with your kids or it starts out as a kid, idolizing certain cartoons and cartoon characters. Those characters are made into toys, and those toys are idols given to the children to play with. Um, Again, I remember one time listening. A teacher. I was watching one of their classes. I was in one of the classes taking notes. If somebody asked that question, like, is it bad for us to allow our kids to play with toys? Because shouldn't these be considered idols? And the teacher's like, nah, there ain't nothing wrong with you letting your kids play with toys. They just kids. They just playing with toys. And it was like, ooh, no, 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 no. Wrong answer. Wrong, wrong, wrong answer. All right. Um, and this is why. Let me get this real quick. It's escaping me. Right, Proverbs 22:6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So again, our enemies have studied us and they understand. You put these idols, these toys, these cartoon characters in front of these children, and by the time they get older, um, it's going to be hard for them to depart from it. All right, there, you cannot tell a lot of our parents that it's bad for them to be allowing their kids to be playing with these Barbie dolls, these Superman, the GI Joe, back in my day, He-Man, Transformers. Uh, Number one, it was all uh, WHITE supremacy. Number one, and number two, it's idolatry. Train up a child the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. It's going to be real hard for you to get that child to go away from believing in some of these. They call it nostalgia. You you see it on YouTube. Some of these grown adults that are still collecting toys from their youth. Yeah, they may be worth a little money nowadays, but it's not just that. It's still trying to relive that childhood memory of playing with your toys and being a child and being a kid. All right. um Go to First Corinthians 13 and 11.
The book of First Corinthians, chapter 13, and verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things.
But when I became a man, I put away childish things. All right. And that goes with video games, that goes with these toys, that nostalgia. Um, and I know there are a lot of men that, they play video games. Um, I tried it. I get bored. I can't sit there and I can tell you when I was growing up, I played video games for hours just like any other kid. But now as a grown man, I spend more time even watching a movie. Sometimes I'll tell you, let's watch something on Netflix and sit there for an hour and a half just flipping through trying to find a movie and feel like, you know what, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed. I was like, you can't find it, like it's just too many to choose nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like you get bored, but that's how it is. You know what I mean? I get bored. 15, 20 minutes. I would never be able to finish any of these video games because, like I said, after 15, 20 minutes of playing, it's like, you know what? Turn this thing off. But these video games that they have the kids addicted to, the cartoons, like I said earlier, um, grab First Corinthians that 15:33. No, it's not. Oh, wait. Yeah, First Corinthians. Yeah, I think it's 15:33. I went to
Yeah.
Proverbs.
The book of First Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 33. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
That's it. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. You got to be very circumspect about what you communicate to your child when they're a child. You know what I mean? I guess I was just a different kind of kid. Um, I could sit there and watch Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, what's the other one? Jason Voorhees, and all these scary movies growing up as a kid because they're just movies. I understood they were just movies. So I didn't get affected by them in any way. You know what I mean? Wasn't scared of them because I knew they were fake. Didn't want to copy the things that were in them because I knew it was crazy. You know what I mean? You'd have to be a psychopath to want to go and emulate the things that you see going on in these movies. But unfortunately, not everybody has that discernment in them, especially nowadays because you're seeing kids committing red rums now just based off of things that they saw in movies. The music is all about red rumming people. You know what I mean? The communications that these kids nowadays, and it started even way back when we were kids, the lyrics of the music, the violence in the video games, the violence in the movies, all that evil communication. And as it says, be not deceived because a lot of people are deceived. You know what I mean? You hear it all the time when people say, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with letting you know that it's just a movie. Oh, no, it's just a cartoon. I remember, I think we showed it one time in one of the, what do you call it? One of the lessons that we did. Remember the what was it, Batgirl cartoon? Where
Yeah.
she went in and yeah, went into the strip club and
Yeah.
started dancing on the pole and everything. This was in a kids Batman show where they no, it wasn't Batgirl, it was Catwoman. It was a Batman cartoon where they had Catgirl go into the strip club and start stripping on the pole. Had the strippers all up in the men sitting around hooting and hollering, no different than if you were watching a movie. This was a kid's cartoon. This is the kind of stuff they're throwing in there nowadays. And a lot of people are just letting their kid, they'll take the iPad, put a movie, a cartoon on, and just let their kids watch just so they don't have to be bothered by them. Not understanding that these are the evil communications that you're letting your kids watch. They're being raised on, and then you wonder why these kids are all messed up nowadays. It was already bad enough when we were kids, but nowadays it is just way over the top. The stuff that they're putting in just regular TV shows now. Um, what was it? They made a TV show off of the movie Scream. What was that other one? The Pretty Little Liars about these this girl, like this group of girls. It was popular, I guess, not too long ago. Um, where one of the girls, I guess, she ended up getting red rummed or something like that. Kid, or at least they thought somebody was, what do you call it? Terrifying these girls in the show. Trying to think, it's been a lot of them, a lot of these shows that are coming out nowadays. You can't even watch a show on Netflix nowadays without them showing some kind of LGBTQ in the show. It's almost like in order for you to do a movie on Netflix or a show on Netflix, you got to put it in there. So all this evil communication again goes back to idolatry, which we went over last Sabbath when we dealt with Commandment 1. All right. And it goes back again to the making of idols, the making of images, which, as we just read, started even way back when we were brought out of Egypt, where our people get bored. If it's not right in front of them, they'll move on to the next. Moses then come down from the mount. Our people were quick to be like, you know what, give us something else. We need something else. And they sat down and had a feast. They ate, they drank, they got up and played because our people love to play. And it's the same thing we do today. Nothing's changed. And that's what we're trying to point out with these precepts right here, is that nothing's changed in our people. It's been this way from the beginning. Our people are quick to allow themselves to be influenced by evil, by outside influences, or by other influences outside of the Bible or outside of the commandments God gave us. All right, let's go to First Corinthians. I mean, not First Corinthians, First Kings, chapter 12. You're going to read verses 25 through 33.
The book of First Kings, chapter 12, and verse 25. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Peniel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again into their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sign, a sin. Yeah. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah. And he offered up the altar, so did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto the calves that he had made. And he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel. And he offered up the altar and burnt incense.
All right, so here you see a second situation where, again, Israel allowed themselves, this is the northern kingdom, to get duped into worshiping the golden calf. All right. Um, that's how easy it is for our people to go away from keeping the commandments and go into idolatry, into the worship of another deity. And it doesn't even have to be anything real. It doesn't have to be a real God or real deity of flesh and blood. It could be anything. All right. Our people are foolish. And this is why, um, again, the Lord told us not to even make these images, because these images are those evil communications that 1 Corinthians 15:33 talks about. It's part of it. And our people will follow it. Um, there's one more that popped in my head. For 2 Timothy 4. Is it 1 through 3? Let me go there real quick. 2 Timothy 4 and yeah, 4 and 1 through 4.
The book of Second Timothy, chapter 4 and verse 1. I charge thee therefore before God, and let the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fable.
All right. So again, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. And we're living in that time right now where our people will not endure sound doctrine. Both those that are in this truth already, they know they're Israelites. They claim to be repentant Israelites. They claim that they're keeping the commandments. They're out teaching. They're on the highways and byways. But in reality, they have not endured sound doctrine. What have they done? But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And that's exactly what you see happening in Israel. Some of these guys, they have certain lusts that they're dealing with. And when they hear someone teaching a doctrine that goes along with whatever lust that they're dealing with within themselves, that's where they go. You still want to sag your pants and walk around looking gangsterish? You're gonna, as soon as you see that Israelite on the street teaching, the baseball cap on, still dressed like a gangster, talking like a gangster, standing like a gangster, you're like, oh, that's where I want to be. Yeah, that's what entices you. You don't have to change. You can still. You still want to be able to go to the club and the strip clubs and drink and party and hang out with strippers and prostitutes and all this kind of stuff. You're gonna hear that teacher teaching that said, "Hey, we could deal with prostitutes." I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what these teachers say. So don't get it twisted.
Right.
But our people that are into that, that's what their lust is. That's what they're dealing with. They're gonna, oh, you know what? That's my kind of teacher right there. He's speaking the truth. Yeah. I could still, I could serve God, go out, teach, and I could still go to the club and party. I could still go to the strip club. I could still deal with these prostitutes. Our people, after their own lust, shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. There are a lot of our people in this truth that should be trying to scratch that itch away, get rid of it. Because as it says in verse 4, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Tell one of these brothers, you know what? This is what the scriptures actually says. This Christ is the God of the Old Testament. What do? This is, you know what they say. They bugged out. They don't know what they're talking about. Turn away their ears. You tell them multiple wives is evil, that it's wicked, that it was never meant to be from the beginning. And what do they say? They'll double down and still put out lessons talking about multiple wives. Lunar Sabbath. Show them the flaws in lunar Sabbath. Turn away their ears. They don't want to hear it. Women wearing pants. Show them the scriptures. This is what it says. They come with an excuse. Don't want to listen. They're got itching ears. Our women want to keep wearing those pants. Who are they going to go to? They're going to listen to that group, that teacher that says, oh, that's not what it's talking about. Women can wear pants. It's talking about war apparel. The women are like, yay, okay. That's the foolishness of our people. That's why we were told not to make them, not to make these idols, because our people are quick to want to follow those things that are not godly, to follow those things that are unrighteous. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Fables. We already know about the Christian churches with Halloween, which is coming up next week, with Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter. You go on and on and on. Easter bunnies, chocolate bunnies, Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, jack-o'-lanterns. It just goes on and on and on. All of this is idolatry. All of it. All right. Let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 33. You're going to read verses 1 through 9.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30, 33, 33, and verse 1. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 50 and 5 years in Jerusalem, but did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, like unto the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down, and he reared up altars for Baalim and made groves and worshiped all the host of heaven and served them. Also he built altars in the house of the Lord, whereof the Lord had said, in Jerusalem shall my name be forever. And he built altars for all the host of heaven in the two courts of the house of the Lord. And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft and dealt with a familiar spirit and with wizards. He wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. And he set a carved image, the idol which he had made in the house of God, of which God had said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen before all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever. Neither will I any more remove the foot of Israel from out of the land which I have appointed for your fathers, so that they will take heed to do all that I have commanded them, according to the whole law and the statutes and the ordinances by the hand of Moses. So
Uh,
Manasseh made, just wait, one
it's
more.
9.
So Manasseh made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to err and to do worse than the heathen whom the Lord had destroyed before the children of Israel.
All right. So he made us to do worse than the heathen. All right. And several of our leaders in Israel have done that. And nothing's changed in Israel today. Our leaders constantly lead us into idolatry, lead us down a path that we shouldn't be going down. And they get away with it because, like our forefathers back then, our fathers, our men today, our women today, um, have those itching ears. All right. We're susceptible to wanting to follow our leaders into idolatry. Whatever they give us, we just go along with without question because we idolize the leaders in Israel, putting them up on a pedestal. All right. Just about every um, or any image that we're given, we want to worship it or idolize it. Okay, that's why we're told not to make the image, even in righteousness to a point. Um, when we were given images, we still started wanting to worship those images, such as when you go to real quick, go to John 3:14. I'll give you another example.
The book of John, chapter 3, and verse 14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
All right. So what was this talking about in John 3:14? As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Remember the story. Actually, we'll just go there. Go to Numbers 21:5 and read to 9.
The book of Numbers, chapter 21, and verse 5. And the people spake, hold on, and the people spake against God and against Moses, wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loadeth this like bread. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much of the people of Israel died. Therefore, the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that every one that it is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
So now this is the Lord told Moses to make the serpent. I'm not Moses. Not Moses, right? None of us are Moses. The Lord's not coming down here telling us to go and make and create uh, certain images. All right. We're just doing it on our own. He told Moses to make this serpent of brass in righteousness for it to do what? To serve a purpose, to heal those of Israel that were being bitten by the snakes. But was it the serpent of brass in particular that was healing the people? No, it wasn't. It was Christ. It was the Lord that was healing the people. All right. But he gave them something to look at. He gave, because again, that's our people. But what did our people do with that image? The Lord gave it to us through Moses. Moses made the serpent of brass as the Lord told him to. Israel kept that pole, that serpent, for a long time. Long time. See, some people never took the time to wonder, like, whatever happened to that serpent? What did they do with it? Let's go to 2 Kings and find out. Go to 2 Kings 18 and read verses 1 through 4.
The book of Second Kings, it was chapter 8, right?
18. So this is way after we came out of Egypt. We're now in the land. We've had King Saul. We've had King David. We've had Solomon, Rehoboam, and so on down the line of the king's line. And now here we are when King Hezekiah starts to rule. And let's see what happened. Go ahead.
The book of Second Kings, chapter 18 and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the third year of Hoshea, son of Eliah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 and
So
5.
based hold on. So what's happening here is at this time, Hoshea, the son of Elah, he was reigning in Israel over the northern kingdom. And then what's happening at that time is Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, he began to reign in the southern kingdom, is what it's telling us. Okay, let's go ahead and read on.
Um, 20 and 5 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 20 and 9 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abib, and the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David his father did. He removed the high places and break the images and cut down the groves and break in pieces the brazen serpents that Moses had made.
He
For
did
unto
what? Go back and read that again.
and break in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made.
He had to finally get rid of that serpent all these hundreds of years later. He had to break it in pieces. He had to get rid of it. Something that the Lord gave to Israel. The Lord said to Israel, he told Moses, make this. And he made it. It helped Israel. But then one king came along and was like, you know, we got to get rid of that thing. We've got to get rid of it. You Israelites are out of your minds. What is wrong with you? Why did he have to do it? Read on.
Um, so and break in pieces the brazen serpents that Moses had made. For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it, and he called it Nehushatan.
All right. So what was Israel doing? Israel started worshiping this thing. Turn it into an idol, worshiping it. That's what we do. That's why we were told not to even make idols, because he already knew that you Israelites, us so-called, not you, us Israelites, are very susceptible that when we have images and things like that, we are going to start worshiping them. We're going to allow ourselves to become corrupted and start worshiping them. So before that could happen, it's like, you know what? Don't even make them. Don't do it. But if you do happen to do it, you better not be bowing down to them. The first part of the commandment, though, is don't make them. And as we go through the lesson, it's going to become abundantly clear that when he said not to make them, he meant clearly not to even make them. All right. Okay. So again, that serpent Moses made, Israel still had it years later and started worshiping it. All right. Let's go back to Exodus and read uh, 20 and verse 4.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
All right. So it's very clear, cannot be misinterpreted. You know what I mean? Cannot be misunderstood. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. All right. So, what exactly is a graven image? Because our people seem to be a little confused when it comes to that. Then again, that comes down to our people having itching ears. And again, when they hear something sounds good to them, when they're, when they love these images and love being caught up in this idolatry, they look for that teacher that says, no, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with having images. They look for that and they listen to it. All right. So, graven meaning, what does it mean for something to be graven? Grave, engrave, an inscription or image on a surface. Fix something indelibly in the mind. Okay, let's see what Merriam-Webster got for us. Graven, an excavation for burial of a body. Dead sense 1, dead sense 4, grave, important, something of importance, like great harm or danger, significantly serious, obsolete, having a serious and dignified quality or demeanor, of an accent mark of a grave accent, low pitched in sound, drab in color, somber. All right, here we go. When it's used as a verb, graved, graven, or graved, graving, as a transitive verb, to carve or cut something such as letters or figures into a hard surface. Engrave, okay, to carve or shape with a chisel. Sculpture, to impress or fix a thought, a memory deeply. Okay, dig, excavate, grave, graving, to clean and pave with pitch. But what we're looking for is this one A and B, and what to carve or cut something such as letters or figures into a hard surface, engrave, or to carve or shape with a chisel. Sculpture. Okay, let's click on sculpture. Let's see. Is it showing it? Sculpture. Okay, it's there. The act of processing, as by carving, modeling, or welding plastic or hard materials into works of art. Work produced by sculpture, a three-dimensional work of art, such as a statue, impressed or raised markings or patterns, such especially on a plant or animal part. Sculpture, as a transitive verb, to form an image or representation of from solid materials, such as wood or stone, to form into a three-dimensional work of art. Um, to change the form that are served by natural processes such as erosion, deposition. It's not what we're looking for. To shape by, or is it by carving or molding? Okay, so you can see this talking about some kind of a sculpture, whether something's being carved out of wood, out of stone, made into an image or a shape. And you see it says to form an image or representation. Okay, um, let's go back. Let's look up image. because we're looking at graven images. What is the word image? Oh, it didn't. Let me see. Do it again. Share screen. All right. Image, a representation of the external form of a person or thing in art. What are some synonyms? Likeness, resemblance, depiction, portrayal, representation, statue. So when you go back and you read Exodus 20 and 4, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. So no, graven is talking about sculpture. Image is talking about a thing of art, something that represents the external form of a person or a thing in art. Told us not to make them. We know that a synonym is the word likeness, as it says, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above. What is the click on likeness? What does that mean? Likeness. Copy, portrait, appearance, semblance, the quality or state of being like, resemblance. All right, let's go to Merriam-Webster. Likeness. Synonyms of likeness: copy, a portrait, appearance, semblance, the quality or state of being like, resemblance. Synonyms: image, illustration, depiction, picture, portrait. All right. So now that gives you a clear definition of what a what do you call it?
Graven.
Of what a graven image is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, graven image.
So again, in Exodus 24, thou shalt not make unto any graven image or any likeness of anything that is under that is in the earth and that is in the water. Let me do this so you can see. All right. So we're right here at Exodus 24. I don't know. I never thought of this before. To actually show the scriptures on here like this. Don't know why I never thought about it. But you can see it right here for in plainly to see. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And then that's the first part of this commandment. And then Exodus 20 and 5 is the second part. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Now, in order for what we're saying to be true, that Exodus 20 and 4 is clearly telling us that we are not to make graven images, period. We would have to find precepts or have precepts to back that up, which we are going to show you. All right. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7, and you're going to read verses 1 through 26. All right.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, "When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy sons. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. But
So
thus
it's right
shall
here in the scriptures. Oh, I'm sorry. It's right here in the scriptures, okay? Because you still have these Christian apologetics, many of these Christian pastors, and people that are caught up in these Christian churches don't want to believe and understand, especially of our people that are married to non-Israelites, that we are commanded not to marry people of the other nations. It's here in the Bible. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were clearly told not to make any marriages with those of the other nations, with people outside of our nation. It's clear. You can't misrepresent it, can't misunderstand it. It's clear as day. And he tells us the reason why he doesn't want us to do it. And it says in verse 4, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. And that happens a lot with our people. Okay, when we start dealing with the other nations, all of a sudden, whatever religion or whatever it is that the spouse or the soon to be spouse is serving, then to appease them, you start, attending their churches or attending their synagogues or whatever religion it is, their temples, whatever it is that they're into. All right. And the Lord warned us about it. He told us not to. Okay. But let's go ahead and read on.
It says, but thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire.
But we were told to destroy the images of those other nations. Why? Go ahead.
Uh, for for thou art an holy people. Did I skip one? Yeah. No.
No, you
Verse 6.
that's it.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
And Christians, for whatever reason, refuse to believe that this is the Bible, that God chose one particular people as his special people. And he says that we are above all people that are upon the face of the earth. It's right here. It's not nothing we're making up. We're showing it to you. It's in the scriptures. Go get your Bible and open it and read it. Okay, go ahead and read on.
The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor chose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, had the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hated him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he shared unto thy fathers, and he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil and the increase of thy uh, uh, kind, kind and the flocks of thy sheep in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness and will none put none of the evil diseases of Egypt which thou knowest upon thee, but he will lay them upon all them that hate thee. And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eyes shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve them their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee. And thou shalt say in thine heart, these nations are more than I. How can I dispose of them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shall um, hold on. Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shall well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt, the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders and the mighty hand and the stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send the hornet among them until they that are left, and hide themselves from thee, be destroyed. Thou shalt not be afraid of them. Thou shalt not be
Affrighted.
affrighted. Yeah,
Affrighted.
thou shalt Thou shalt not be affrighted of them, for the Lord thy God is among you, a mighty God and terrible. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. And he shall deliver their kings unto thine hand, and thou shall destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. The graven image of their God shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it, but thou shalt utterly destroy it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing.
So it actually says, but thou shalt utterly detest it. Okay. But you can see the Lord is very clear on what he wanted us to do to these other nations and their graven images. He tells us the graven, and this is verse 25 again, the graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein. So you burn and melt down these gold chains, silver chains that people are wearing with these crosses and all this kind of stuff, and they want to try and keep the gold, and like, no, it's an abomination. The Lord says, don't hold on to that, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. It says, neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thy house. So in other words, don't even bring these images into your house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. That's heavy. He's calling these images, he's calling them a cursed thing. And we're not even supposed to bring them into our household. All right. Lest thou be a cursed thing like it, but thou shalt utterly detest it. and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. Okay, so again, are we supposed to be making these images? Especially, you see people making images of the Father and the Son, which they're not supposed to be doing, but do it anyway. All right. Um, from here, let's go to Isaiah 42 and 8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 8. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images.
Crystal clear. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. And that goes back again, that I'm trying to tell you, some of our brothers in this truth, when you guys are denying Christ, you're denying his glory. That glory that the Father had gave him before he came down, on the earth in fleshly form as Christ, as Jesus the Christ. He was up there with the Father in his glory. But no different than Esau giving us the image of Caesar Bow, we're making our own images, which we're not supposed to be doing. And many of our brothers in this truth are ignoring what the scriptures say, and gonna lead a lot of our people into trouble. All right. Um, let's stay in Isaiah 42. Just drop down to verse 17. So
The book of
dropping down to
Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 17. They shall be turned back, they shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images that say to the molten image, ye are our gods.
And a lot of our people are doing that. They shall be turned back, they shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, ye are our gods. Many of our people are allowing themselves to get caught up in Hinduism, Buddhism, some of these other Islam, where you see them worshiping these images. Um, you see them with you go into a Chinese person house, Cambodian, Vietnamese, you'll see those images of Buddha that they be having in their houses made of is that jade? That's that green color. Um, let me see. I believe it's jade. Let me look
It
it up.
is, yeah, it is
It is
Jade.
jade. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see them, they be having, out in their front yards in their house and stuff like that. And then some of our people getting involved in that stuff will bring that into their homes. We're not supposed to be doing it. Our people trust in these images. Some, like I said earlier, some of our people walking around with the gold cross, a silver cross on their neck, on a gold chain or a silver chain. See people hanging them on their rear view mirrors in their cars, putting the cross on the back of their cars, or what is that little fish image or the dove image they'll put on their car. And they think that they're being righteous. They think they're showing how much they love God by having these images, but in reality we're told not to have them, because our people trust. You're putting this cross on your rearview mirror because you're praying and hoping that by having that in your car is going to prevent you from having an accident or something. You're trusting that having this cross in your car is going to bless your car. It's not how that works, but that's what people are doing. Okay, same thing with their house. You see people hanging the cross in their house because they think that the cross is going to bless their house. It's not. It's an abomination. You're bringing that abomination into your house, and we're not supposed to. Shouldn't even be making them. All right. Let's go to Psalms 97 and 7.
The book of Psalms, chapter 97 and verse 7. Confound, Confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols, worship him, all ye gods.
Which again shows that there is more than one God. Okay, because the Bible mentions gods in several places. Okay, but for our purposes right here at this lesson, confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols. Worship him, all ye gods. So we need to be worshiping our God. Okay, stop serving these graven images. Stop making them. Stop serving them. All right. Many of our people, again, how are they boasting themselves of idols? Wearing those crosses on their necks, wearing those, you're seeing T-shirts with pictures of Caesar Bow on them, jackets with pictures of Caesar Bow. People are getting tattoos of Caesar Bow put on them. It's crazy. Uh, let me see if I can, I'm not even gonna do that. Let's see if I can find pictures online of people getting those tattoos of Caesar Bow. I'm not even gonna do it.
There's a
But
lot of
people
them.
are doing this crazy stuff. There's, I'm sure there probably are. But confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols. Worship him, all ye gods. Let's go to the book of Stay in Psalms. Let's go to 2 and 11.
2 and 11. The book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 11. Um, Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling.
All right. So when it said in Psalm 97 and 7, worship him, that him is talking about the Lord. Worship the Lord. All right. Worship him. It says, serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Let's go back to Exodus 20 and verse 4.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
All right. So crystal clear. You already read it. Just wanted to go over it one more time. Let's drop down to verse 23. We read it. No, we didn't read 23 earlier, but we went down to 21. So let's go ahead and read 23. Actually, we went
Verse.
to 17.
So read it all the way down to 23.
Just read verse 23.
Verse 23. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of
No,
Israel,
verse
ye have,
23, you're at 22. 23.
I'm sorry, 20 and 23.
Just 23. No, no, just read Exodus 20 and verse 23.
Right. The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 23. Ye shall not make ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold.
So again, plain and simple. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. We're being told again not to make them. Period. Nothing afterwards. Stops right there. You shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. Period. It's talking about making them. We are told several times in the scriptures not to make them. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Go to chapter 5. You're going to read verse 8.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 8. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth.
All right. So we shouldn't be making anything that is up in the heavens. Things of, images of the moon, the sun, the stars. You see that in Islam, they got the crescent moon and the star that they worship. You see that in what is that, astrology, where they follow the stars, the alignment of the stars, or whatever. What do they call those? The signs, the Leo, the Scorpio, the Capricorn, all that foolishness. Not supposed to be making no images of this stuff. People worshiping the moon, stuff of the heavens, birds flying around in the heavens. No images, animals that are in the earth beneath the heavens. People were making images of all kind of animals. And you see that our enemy Esau has no problem with making these cartoons of animals. You got like the Kung Fu Panda, Woody Woodpecker, made after a woodpecker bird. Snoopy, supposedly a dog, with his buddy, the little bird that flies around with him. You got Tweety Bird, the little yellow canary bird. What is this? Sylvester, the cat, Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Esau loves making these cartoons out of what? These paintings and cartoons, because that's what a motion picture is. They're a picture, but cartoons are paintings, moving paintings or moving art. All right. So all these different cartoons that they make of animals, it's not by accident. You know what I mean? What are some of these other cartoons? Lion King. You know what I mean? Cartoon, made up of lions. I already mentioned Kung Fu Panda, right? And the list just goes on and on. These things are not done by accident. Introducing the children to idolatry at a young age, as we read earlier. You teach the kid while they're young, and when they get old, it's going to be hard for them to turn from it. It's going to be ingrained in them. Worshipping idols is not, it's going to be like second nature, and that's what they want. They want all people to become idolaters just like them. But we're not supposed to follow them. We're not supposed to do it. All right, let's go to Exodus 34 and 17.
The book of Exodus, chapter 34 and verse 17. Thou shalt make thee no molten gods.
Thou shalt make thee no molten gods, period. Okay, again, that's how we can know and show that Exodus 20 and 4, is broken up into two parts. Number one, we're not supposed to make them, because there are several precepts that back it up. We are told over and over again not to make these images. As we're reading in Exodus 34:17, thou shalt make thee no molten gods, period. There's the period right there. It should be crystal clear. It's right there on your screen. So I'm glad I actually got it up there so you can read along with us and read it for yourselves. I don't know, I don't know why I never thought of that before.
Right.
Just put it up there. All right. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 18.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 18. What profit? What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof hath graven it, the molten image, and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusted therein, to make dumb idols.
All right. So you have to ask yourself, what profit is there in you having these images? What profit is there in it? Is it going to help us get into the kingdom? Is it going to be awarded to you for righteousness by the Lord? That He's going to say, you know what? They're making these images in righteousness. You know, I'm going to let them in. Is there any profit in it? Are you going to benefit that way? What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof hath graven it, the molten image and the teacher of lies? A teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein, to make dumb idols. To make dumb idols. To make dumb idols. Because when you think about it, especially with Esau and these cartoons, the majority of the stuff that are in these cartoons is all foolishness. We all watch these cartoons as little kids. Basically, all it is, the majority of these cartoons are about these cartoon characters walking around and getting into mischief. Foolishness. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 24:9.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 24, and verse 9. The thought of foolishness, hold on, the thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men.
So the scriptures is flatly telling us the very the thought of foolishness is sin. So why is it that if America's supposed to be trusting in God, America's supposed to be righteous, why is it they make all these cartoons full of foolishness? Nothing but mischief and foolishness going on in these cartoons. Even watch your Tom and Jerry cartoons. It's nothing but foolishness. And wonder why these kids are running around acting foolish. Remember, we went over this last week with Mark 7 and 21. Let's go there real quick. Mark 7 and 21.
The book of Mark, chapter 7, and verse 21.
And read through
For from
23.
For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
Look at that right here. Foolishness. Foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. So this foolishness is idolatry. Okay. Breaking commandment 1. We went over this last Sabbath. Okay. So you got to ask yourself, why is Esau making all these cartoons that are full of foolishness and mischief for kids to watch? Why is that? And then people wonder why their kids are out of control. It's got a purpose behind it, to corrupt the kids with what? With these images, with this evil communication. Remember, we read earlier, 1 Corinthians 15:33. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. All right, I'll pull it up real quick just so you guys can see it. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. It's right here in the scriptures. It's not stuff we're making up. All right. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10. And you're going to read verses 14 to 15. Oops, chapter 10, and verse 14 to 15.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 14. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity and the work of error. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish.
All right, so this again is crystal clear. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood. As we just read in Habakkuk 2 and 18, that these images are a teacher of lies. They are teachers of lies. And it doesn't matter how you try and justify using them. Um, the Lord is not with it at all. All right. They are images of falsehood. And as it says, and there is no breath in them. Let's go to the book of Psalms. We're going to go to chapter 40, and we're going to read verse 4.
The book of Psalms, chapter 40 and verse 4. Blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respect respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside the lies.
Blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust. Because again, our people trust in these images. And these images are what? Teachers of lies. We should be putting all our trust in the Lord. The Lord said, don't make them. So we, as his people, should be respecting that and not making them. And as it says here, and respected not the proud. Blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud. That's why I'm sitting here and saying I have no respect for our brothers that are sitting here so proud and arrogant in teaching these bad doctrines to our people. We're told in the scriptures that the blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud. I'm not going to sit here and respect, the things that some of these proud men are doing. I'm not going to do it. I have no respect for the proud, none. Why? Because the scriptures tells us not to. Not going to show no respect to that at all. People to stop speaking and acting so arrogant, so proud, so proudly. Stop letting proud speech and arrogancy come out of their mouths. Blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Not gonna want. I don't want to have nothing to do with idolaters. Nothing. And it's funny because again, for those of us that understand that Christ is the God of the Old Testament, they turn around and say we're the ones in idolatry. That's what I don't get. That's the funny thing about it. They're calling the people that actually hear Christ's voice and understand that Christ is the God of the Old Testament. They're turning around and calling us the idolaters. It's crazy. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. We're going to go to verse 15. You're going to read verses 15 through 31. Now I'm going to stop you some in some of them because this one is good. This is another one of those chapters or verses that that I really like because it really explains why we shouldn't be making these images and telling us not to make them. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, and verse 15. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire.
So he
Lest ye
said that
corrupt.
we saw no manner of similitude. We saw no manner of similitude when the Lord was speaking to our people out of the midst of the fire, when he stood up in front of the mountain and the Lord spake to the Israelites and spake the 10 commandments to them. He didn't show us no image of himself, nothing. All right. There's a warning. Take ye therefore good heed. That is a warning. Read on.
Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female.
All right. Lest ye corrupt yourselves. You notice I used that word corrupt earlier, that many of our people have corrupted themselves with these images. We always do it. No matter how innocent it may seem or appear to us, okay, this isn't that bad of an image. Oh, well, I'm only using it because our people need to see a visual and things like that. It doesn't matter. The Lord don't care about that. He told us don't make them because our people do what? We corrupt ourselves. Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, any figure,
Mhm.
the likeness of male or female. We looked up that word likeness earlier. The likeness of male or female. He don't care what figure it is. He don't care if it's a lion. He don't care if it's a donkey, elephant, giraffe, monkey. Doesn't matter. Snake, fish. He don't care if it's a male fish, female fish, or man or woman, male or female. And he goes on and explain. Go ahead.
Um, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air.
And that's why we read Exodus 20 and 4 a little bit ago. And I say, you know what? The birds in the airs, people, some of our people will make images of these things and start worshiping birds and things that fly and things like that. Make them their gods, make them their idols. As it says, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth. Like I said earlier, it's no coincidence that Esau is making these cartoons and these images and things like that of talking animals. All right. Go ahead and read on.
The likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the water beneath the earth.
The likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. Now it's getting a little bit more detailed than what we read in Exodus 20 and 4 and Deuteronomy 5. What was that, 5 and 18, I believe? Getting a little bit more detailed. Explaining, yeah, I'm talking about those birds that are flying around in the air. You better not be making no images of them. Yeah, I'm talking about any of these animals that are on the earth. You better not be making no images of them. Any of these insects, bugs, animals, anything that creep on the ground, you better not be making no images of them. I don't care what kind of fish it is, whether it's a tiny goldfish, a shark, a whale, whatever is in, any fish that's in the waters, you better not be making no images of them. Let's read on. What else does he say about them? Read on.
And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God had driven unto all nations under the whole heaven.
Had divided unto all nations under the heaven. All right. So again, he's warning us. Unless we lift up our eyes unto heaven, and when we see the sun and the moon and the stars and all the host of heaven, should us be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God had divided into all nations under the whole heaven. And that again comes back to what we've been trying to explain to our brothers in this truth about following the moon. It don't matter if it's the dark moon, sliver moon, full moon. We should not be following the moon because that's what the other nations did. It's not that the other nations were following us because we follow the moon. And no, it was us following them because they made the moon into their gods. They're following these moon gods. So therefore, they follow the moon for their yearly circuit from year to year. We weren't supposed to do it. We're not supposed to be following it. All right, let's read on. We're at verse 20.
But the Lord had taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as you are this day. Furthermore, the Lord was angry with me for your sake, and swore that I should not go over Jordan, and that I should not go in unto the good land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. But I must die in this land. I must not go over Jordan, but ye shall go over and possess that good land.
So
Take
you
heed
can
unto.
see Moses came to terms with the fact that the Lord said, I'm sorry, I love you, bro, but you disrespected me. Can't let you go in. Can't do it. Moses had no choice but to accept it and tell the people, like, you know what? The Lord was angry at me for your sakes because I messed up and said I wouldn't be able to go into the land with you. You'll be able to go in, but I can't go with you. So I have to die over here in this land. Can you imagine that, being Moses, knowing that you're going to die, but you got to die over there in that land? You're not going to be able to see the promised land. You're not going to be able to enter in. And that's what I constantly try to, how would I put it, stress to our brothers. If the Lord loved Moses as much as he did, Moses was his man. Moses was his main man, right hand man. And Moses messed up, messed up. I don't want to say it was a little bit compared to stuff some of our other forefathers have done. Yeah, it was a minor thing compared to some of the other stuff our forefathers did. And the Lord denied him entry into the land, denied him entry into the kingdom. So if the Lord didn't let Moses in based off of that, what makes you think you're going to get the kingdom when you're running around denying that Christ is the God of the Old Testament? Number one, you're denying him, denying his glory, teaching our people to break the commandments, treating each other like garbage, full of covetousness, full of hate, full of debate. What makes you think that you are going to go in? That's what I ask myself. I go, you know what? If I do this or if I do this, what makes me think that the Lord's going to let me in? Like, no, I better not do that. Nuh-uh. No, 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 no. Better not say that. No, 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 no. You got to take a self-examination and be realistic, because many of our brothers are not real. What was it that was starting to pop up for a little while under the other doctrine? All Israel is going to get, going to be able to get the kingdom. It don't matter what you do. You can sin all you want. You're an Israelite. You're Black, Hispanic, Native American. You're getting the kingdom. You get the kingdom anyway. That doctrine was starting to pop up for a little while. People were starting to teach. What was it, like a couple of years ago or so that started popping up?
Mhm.
Like, be realistic. Our people come up with some foolish stuff, have not endured sound doctrine, but are heaping to themselves teachers having itching ears. That's what's going on. All right, let's read on verse 23.
Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image or the likeness of anything which the Lord thy God hath forbidden thee.
He's warning us, take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image or the likeness of anything which the Lord thy God had forbidden thee. Didn't he basically forbid us to make images of just about anything, right? But you have some of our brothers that are dismissive of it. Take heed. Take heed, brothers and sisters. That's all I can say. We're reading you and showing you the scriptures. We're showing you what the Bible says. Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image or the likeness of anything which the Lord thy God hath forbidden thee. So how are you going to know what he forbidden us to make? It's written right here in the scriptures. We're reading it. Not to make anything, the heavens above, the land underneath the heavens, or anything underneath the waters. Not to make images of them. Let's go and read on verse 24.
For the Lord thy God is a for the Lord thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. When thou shalt beget children and children, and ye shall have remain along in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye, it, yeah, to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed.
Okay, so now we got to ask the question, are we in our land still? We're not in our land. We're way over here across the world in good old US of A, still in captivity under our oppressors, even though they give us the appearance of freedom. Why are we over here? Why? Because we broke the covenant of our God and made the images, worshiped the images, And he did exactly what he said he was going to do to us if we did that. We're over here. We're living it. So you would think that we would read the scriptures, take it seriously, and be like, you know what? I don't want to do anything that even makes it look like I'm breaking the commandment of the Lord. Doesn't the scriptures tell us to refrain from all appearances of evil? It's that just in case thing. You hear say it all the time, just in case. Let's go ahead and read on.
And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you.
Just as I just said, we've been scattered all over the world. Here we are, the US of A, in captivity. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was going to scatter us among the nations. Go ahead and read on.
And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear nor eat nor smell.
Is that not
But
what we're doing here all in America and all over the world where we've been scattered? Following all these different denominations of Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, atheism, what do they call it? Atheistism, atheism, what would it be called? Being atheists. Go ahead.
um, but if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. When thou art in tribulation and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God and shalt be obedient unto his voice. For the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forsake the covenant of thy fathers which he swore unto them.
Nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he swore unto them. All right. So the scriptures are plain, it's clear. We were told not to make any of these images of anything, male or female, things up in the heavens, things on the earth below the heavens, or anything under the waters. Not supposed to make them. Let's go to Leviticus 19 and read verse 4.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 4. Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am the Lord your God.
So, how many precepts have we brought out now that's plainly telling us not to make? Turn ye not into idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am the Lord your God. How many more precepts is it gonna take for our people to listen? Let's stay in Leviticus and drop down and go down to chapter 26. You're gonna read verse 1.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 1. You shall make you no idols, nor graven images, um, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any images of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God.
All right, so a standing image, good old Lady Liberty, Statue of Liberty. Esau's not putting these images in the land by accident. He knows that this is Northern Kingdom's land, teaching you to commit idolatry. It's not by accident in Brazil. They've got that big old statue of Caesar Borgia there. And it's not just, I thought it was just Brazil that had it, but I'm finding that there are multiple countries in Central and South America that have those big old huge statues of white Christ in them that our people are going to and bowing down. The one in Brazil is the one that gets the most what do you call it? Like views or put out into the media. You see on movies and stuff like that. So I all these years I thought it was the only one. I had no idea that they had multiple um, statues like this all over Central and South America, having our people bowing down and worshiping these images of Caesar Borgia. But we were told we were not supposed to set up any standing images in our land. No images of stone. We're not supposed to be bowing down to them, not supposed to be worshiping them. All right. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. You're going to go to chapter 27 and read verse 15.
Deuteronomy.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 27.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, and verse 15. Cursed be the man that maketh any graven or molten image, an abomination unto the Lord, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and putteth it in a secret place, and all the people shall answer and say, Amen.
All right. So it couldn't be any more clear. Cursed be the man that maketh any graven or molten image. Does it say cursed be the man that makes the image, but only if he bows down to it? That's when he'll be cursed, only when he bows down to the image. It's not what it says. It says, cursed be the man that maketh any graven or molten image, an abomination unto the Lord, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and put it in a secret place. And all the people shall answer and say, Amen. See, that's what we're trying to show you, that argument that some of our brothers use that, but it says not to bow down to. Like, no. He's telling us not to even make them, period. Over and over again in the scriptures. Don't make them. Let's go to Psalms 96 and 5.
The book of Psalms, chapter 96, and verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idle, but the Lord made the heaven.
For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Again, we're not supposed to be following after the other nations and following after their idols, getting caught up in their idolatry. And that's exactly what we're taught here in America. From the moment we're born until the day we die, we are bombarded with images and imagery and idolatry all throughout our lifespan, over and over and over. It's a daily occurrence. That's why you got to stay in these scriptures. You got to stay meditating. You got to stay studying, fasting, praying, and applying the commandments, repenting. You got to make this all a part of your daily life, because daily we're being bombarded with evil communication. And where are we getting the majority of this evil communication from? Through imagery, images. Let's stay in Psalms and go to 115. You're going to read verses 4 through 8.
The book of Psalms, chapter 115, and verse 4. Their idols are silver and gold, the works of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusted in them.
All right. So whose idols is this talking about? Their idols. We just read the gods of the nations are idols. So these other nations, their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. And they gave us those idols. Go into the Catholic Church and see what Esau has given to our people, the Northern Kingdom. Statues of white Virgin Mary, statues of white Christ, statues of baby white Christ, statues of Saint Peter, Saint Paul, and Saint this person, Saint that person all over the church. And our people are going into these churches and getting down on their hands and knees with these rose beads of the rosary and praying the rosary in front of these statues. It's idolatry. And we learned it from who? Learned it from our enemies, learned it from the heathen. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. Go look at that statue of Virgin Mary and just sit there and stare at it for a while and see if it blinks its eyes. See if it turns its head. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen some of these videos online where people are showing that some of these, they're going into some of these churches or people have videos showing where the statue may blink or the statue turns the head and all kinds of stuff like that. Now, whether or not these videos are real, who knows? But if they are real, then that's telling you that these demons must be coming into these statues and causing this stuff to happen. But in reality, the Lord is telling us they have mouths, but they don't speak. Why are you getting down on your hands and knees in front of a statue of Virgin Mary and praying to it? The statue is not going to open its mouth up and speak to you and say, you are forgiven for your sins, brother. You are forgiven for your sins, sister. It can't. Like I said, the eyes aren't going to blink. They don't see. The statues have ears. They have ears, but they can't hear you. No matter how much you get down on your hands and knees and crying, and you see our people be really seriously in front of these statues, praying and crying and carrying on. Statues can't hear nothing you saying. They have noses. It says noses have they, but they smell not. The nose can't smell you. They can't smell the air that's blowing through the church. They have hands, but they handle not. These statues, sometimes they got the statue, what is it, something like this, making the sign with the white Christ, and Virgin Mary sometimes got the hand signal. They got hands, but the statue's not about to reach out and lay hands on you and pray for you. Can't do it. It's an inanimate object. It's a statue. It's fake. It says, feet have they, but they walk not. The statue's not going to walk out the door and follow you out the church. They're forever stuck in that church until somebody decides to carry that statue out. They can't walk. It says, neither speak they through their throat. Like I said, it's not going to pray for you. Statue's not going to open up its mouth to be like, okay, brother Zerubbabel, what do you need? Why are you here? It's not going to give you any directions, not going to give you no counsel, nothing. Verse 8, they that make them are like unto them. They that make them are like unto them. And later on, as we go through, you're going to see that scriptures has, some very interesting descriptions of the people that make idols. So is everyone that trusted in them. Oh, verse 9. O Israel, talking to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. O Israel, trust thou in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. O house of Aaron, trust in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. Ye that fear the Lord, trust in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. So, again, scripture's telling us don't make them. Let's stay in Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 135 and verse 15. I'm going to read through verse 18.
The book of Psalms, chapter 135 and verse 15. The idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the works of man's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Neither is there any breath in their mouths. They that make them are like unto them. So is every one that trusted in them.
All right. So again, it's saying the exact same thing that we just read in Psalms 115. Saying the exact same thing. Let's go back. Psalm 115. Only here it's saying their idols are silver and gold. So you got to ask yourself, who's the there? Who is it talking about? Why you got to go precept upon precept. Then when you go back to 135 and 15, it makes it clear. Oh, talk about the heathen. Idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. Okay. Read verses 19 through 21.
Verse 19. Bless the Lord, O house of Israel. Bless the Lord, O house of Aaron. Bless the Lord, O house of Levi, ye that fear the Lord, bless the Lord. Blessed be the Lord out of Zion, which dwelleth at Jerusalem. Praise ye the Lord.
So who is he talking to? You Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the house of Israel. He's talking to the house of Aaron because the house of Aaron is the house of Levi, the Levitical priesthood. Okay. Blessed be the Lord out of Zion, which dwelleth at Jerusalem. Zion is just another name for Israel. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 44. I'm going to read verses 9 through 20.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 44, and verse 9. They, they that make a graven image are all of them vanity. Um, and their delectable the delectable things shall not profit, and they are their own witnesses. They see not, nor know that they may be ashamed. Who hath formed a god or molten a graven image that is profitable for nothing? Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen they are of men. Let them all be gathered together, let them stand up, yet they shall fear, and they shall be ashamed together. The smith with the tongs both work in the coals, and fashion it with hammers, and worketh it with the strength of his arms. Yeah, he is hungry, and his strength faileth. He drinketh no water, and is faint. The carpenter stretcheth out his ruler, he maketh it out with a line, he fitteth it with planes, and he maketh it out of with the compass, and make it after the figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man, that it may remain in the house. He heweth him down cedars, and taketh the cypress and the oak, which he strength, strengtheneth for himself among the trees of the forest. He planteth an ash, and the rain doth nourish it. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof and warm himself. Yeah, he kindled it and baketh bread. Yeah, he maketh a god and worshipeth it. He maketh it a graven image and falleth down thereto. He burneth part thereof in the fire, with part thereof he eateth flesh. He roasted roast, and is satisfied. He warmeth himself, and saith, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. And the residue thereof he maketh a god, even his graven image he falleth down unto it, and worship it, and prayeth unto it, and saith, Deliver me, for thou art my God. They have not known nor understood, for he hath shut their eyes that they cannot see, and their hearts that they cannot understand. And none considereth in his heart, neither is there known ledge nor understand to say, I have burned part of it in
Is
the
there
fire.
knowledge? You
I'll
go back
read
to
it
that.
again.
It says neither is
And
there knowledge. Nor, yeah.
and none considereth in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, I have burned part of it in the fire. Yeah, also I have baked bread upon the coals thereof. I have roasted flesh and eaten it. And shall I make the residue thereof an abomination? Shall I fall down to the stalk of a tree? He feedeth on ashes, a deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he can not deliver his soul, nor say, Is is there not a lie in my right hand?
He feedeth on ashes. A deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul, nor say, Is there not a lie in my right hand? And again, many of our brothers in this truth sitting around waiting for a computer chip to be put in their right hand to say, hey, you see, the mark of the beast is here. Like, no, you've already accepted the mark of the beast. Is there not a lie in your right hand? Are many of our brothers in this truth not full of idolatry? Remember, their right hand is a right hand of lies. That's the beast system that we're living under. Have you believing you're doing the works of the of the right hand, but you're really doing the works of the left hand? What they've given us in the right hand is a lie. What is that lie? Christ is white. The Israelites were white. Everybody in the book is white. God loves everybody. Everyone's a child of God. Everyone can be saved. God loves everyone. Everything is about love. Love, love, love. God even loves the LGBTQ. All of these lies. Lies of the right hand. Their right hand is a right hand of lies, a right hand of deceit. The thing is, are you going to continue to allow yourself to be lied to through these images? Let's go to Isaiah 45 and 16.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 16. They shall be ashamed and also confounded. All of them they shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols.
They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. They shall be ashamed and also confounded. All of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. Again, brothers that are making these idols, be real careful. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. You're going to read verses 8 through 14.
The wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 8. It says, but that which is made with hands is cursed, as well it as he that made it. He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, it was called God. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto God. For that
For
which
the
is made,
ungodliness are both alike hateful unto God. He hates the ungodliness and their ungodly. I mean, he hates the ungodly and their ungodliness. He hates it both. Go ahead.
um, for that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it.
So the thing that's made is going to get punished together with him that made it. So those of you that are making these idols, pay very close attention to what the scriptures are saying. Go ahead.
Um, Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of God they are become an abomination and a stumbling block to the souls of men and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of men they enter into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
For by the vain glory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. As it says in verse 12, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. This is why we're being told not to make them. No matter how much our leaders are telling us that there's nothing wrong with it, we had idols, Solomon made idols in the temple. Well, Moses made the serpent, the brass serpent. And you saw what happened with that brass serpent. Solomon was allowed to put those idols in the temple, and you saw what a Solomon did. Don't forget, Solomon started making groves and temples and things like that for his wives and their gods and started worshiping them, burning, making burnt sacrifices to them, all of that. Don't ever forget the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. We're supposed to be learning from the mistakes of our forefathers, not repeating them. Let's stay in Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go to chapter 15 and read verses 1 through 6.
The book of wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 1. But thou, O God, art gracious and true, long suffering and in mercy, ordering all things. For if we sin, we are thine. knowing thy power, but we will not sin, knowing that we are counted thine. For to know thee is perfect righteousness. Yeah, to know thy power is the root of immortality. For neither did the mischievous inventions of men deceive us, nor an image spotted with diverse colors, the painter's uh, fruitless labors. The sign, the
The
sight
sight.
whereof, the sight whereof enticeth fools to lust after it, and so they desire the form of a dead image that hath no breath. Both they that make them, they that desire them, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things and are worthy to have such things to trust upon.
That's heavy. Both they that make them, they that desire them, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things. Three separate things. Just like commandment 2 is broken up into two parts. Don't make them, don't worship them. As it says here, both they that make them, they that desire them, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things and are worthy to have such things to trust upon. Because you could be somebody, you don't make idols, but you sure have a desire for them. You can have a desire for them and not actually be worshiping them. You see how that works? He's letting us know there is a separation. The making of them, the desiring of them, and the worship of them. You don't have to have all three in order to be in sin. Just the very fact of you making them puts you in sin. Read verse 4 again. For neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us, nor an image spotted with diverse colors, the painter's fruitless labor. So when it's talking about graven images, it's not just talking about sculptures, it's talking about paintings also. And you can't try and be slick that just because you're not painting on a canvas and you're painting on an iPad or on a computer, making what do you call it, graphics, like graphic designs, graphic designers and things like that. Can't try and be slick about it. It's the same thing. It's idolatry. It's breaking the commandments of the Most High. Again, the sight whereof enticeth fools to lust after it. And so they desire the form of a dead image that hath no breath. But they that make them, they that desire them, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things. Not us saying it. It's the Bible speaking. And I don't want to think of any of our leaders, in especially today in Israel, being lovers of evil things. Don't want to think that. But unfortunately, that's what the scripture says. All right. Let's read on. Let's read verses 7 through 19.
Verse 7, the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, and verse 7. For the potter, tempting soft earth, fashioneth
Tempering,
every uh,
tempering.
tempering. For the potter, tempering soft earth, fashioning every vessel with much labor for our service. Yeah, of the same clay he maketh both the vessel that serve for clean use, and likewise also all such as serve to the contrary. But what is the use of either spot? The potter himself is the judge.
Used to be of either sort.
Um, Hold on. For the potter, tempering soft earth, fashioneth every vessel with much labor for our service. Yeah, of the same clay he maketh both the vessel that serve for clean use, and likewise also such as serve to the contrary. But what is the use of either sort? The potter himself is the judge,
The
and
potter
employing
himself. Go
Mhm,
ahead.
is the judge, and employing his labors lewdly, and maketh a vain God of the same clay, even he which a little before was made of earth himself, and with a little while after returneth to the same, out, out of the which he was taken, when his life which was lent him shall be demanded. Notwithstanding his care is not that he shall have much labor, nor that his life is short, but striveth to excel uh, goldsmiths and silversmiths, and endeavoreth to do like the workmen's in brass, and counteth it his glory to make counterfeit things. His heart is ashes, his bones is more vile than earth, and his life of less value than clay. Whereas
You go back, read that again.
verse 9,
Verse 10.
verse 10, his heart is ashes, his hope is more vile than earth, and his life of less value than clay. For as much as he knew not his maker, and him that is inspired into him active soul, and breathed in a living spirit. But they counted our life a pastime, our time here a marker for gain. For say they, we must be getting every way through it be by evil means. For this man that of earthly matters maketh brittle vessels and graven images, knoweth himself to offend above all others. And although the enemies of thy people that hold them in subjections are most foolish, and are more miserable than very babes. For they count all the idols of the heathen to be gods, which neither have the use of eyes to see, nor nose to draw breath, nor ears to hear, nor fingers of hands to handle. And as for their feet, they are slow to go. For man made them, and he that borroweth his own spirit fashioneth them, but no man can make a God like unto himself. For being mortal, he worketh a dead thing which with wicked hands. For he himself is better than the thing which he uh, worshipeth. Whereas he liveth once, but they never. Yeah, they worship those beasts also that are most hateful. For being compared together, some are worse than others. Neither are they beautiful so much as to be desired in respect of beasts, but they went without the praise of God and his blessing.
All right. So again, it's giving us a good description of these images and the fact that they're not worth anything. They're nothing. All right. Let's go to the book of Baruch, chapter 6. You're going to read verses 1 through 72.
Okay. The book of Baruch, chapter 6 and verse 1. Read the little prologue too, or no?
No, just start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Because of the sins which ye have committed before God, ye shall be led away captives into Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. So when ye be come unto Babylon, ye shall remain there many years and for a long season, namely 7 generations. And after that, I will bring you away peaceably from thence. Now shall ye see in Babylon gods of silver and of gold and of wood, borne upon shoulders, which cause the nations to fear.
Born means they're
Be,
carried upon shoulders. They're being carried because they can't walk. Okay, go ahead.
Beware therefore that ye in no wise be like unto strangers, neither be ye afraid of them. When ye see the multitude before them and behind them, worshiping them. But say ye in your hearts, O Lord, we must worship thee. For my angel is with you, and I myself caring for your soul. As for their tongue, it is polished by the workmen, and they themselves are gilded and laid over with silver, yet are they but false and cannot speak. And taking gold as it were for a virgin that loveth to go gay, they made crowns for the heads of their gods. Sometimes also the priests conveyed from their gods gold and silver and bestowed it upon themselves. Yeah, they will give therefore to the common harlot and deck them as men with garments, being gods of silver and gods of gold and wood. Yet cannot these gods save themselves from rust and moss, though they be covered with purple raiment. They wipe their faces. They wipe their faces because of the dust of the temple, when there is much upon them. And he that cannot put to death one that offended him, holdeth a sceptre, as though he were a judge of the country. He hath also in his right hand a dagger and an axe, but cannot deliver himself from war and thieves, whereby they are known not to be gods, therefore fear them not. For like as a vessel that a man useth is nothing worth when it is broken, even so it is with their gods. When they be set up in their temples, their eyes be full of dust through the feet of them that come in. And as the doors are made sure on every side upon him that offend the king, as being committed to suffer death, even so the priests make fast their temples with doors, with locks and bars, lest their gods be spoiled with robbers. They light them candles, yeah, more than for themselves, wherefore they cannot see one. They are as one of the beams of the temple, yet they say their hearts are ag-
Nod, nod upon.
gnawed upon by the things creeping out of the earth. And when they eat them and their clothes, they feel it not. Their faces are black through the smoke that cometh out of the temple. Upon their bodies and heads sit bats, swallows, and birds, and the cats also. By this ye may know that they are no gods, therefore fear them not. Notwithstanding the gold that is about them to make them beautiful, except they wipe off the rust, they will not shine. For neither when they were molted did they feel it. The things wherein there is no breath are bought for a most high price. They are borne upon shoulders having no feet, whereby they declare unto men that they be nothing worth. They also that serve them are ashamed, for if they fall to the ground at any time, they cannot rise up again of themselves. Neither if one set them upright can they move of themselves. Neither if they be bow down can they make themselves straight, but they set gifts before them as unto dead men. As for the things that are sacrificed unto them, their priests shall sell and abuse. In like manner, their wives lay up part thereof in salt, but unto the poor and impotent they give nothing of it. Measured women and women in uh, childbed eat their sacrifices, but these things ye may know that they are no gods, fear them not. For how can they be called gods? Because women set meat before the gods of silver, gold, and wood, and the priests sit in their temples, having their clothes rent, and their heads and beards shaven, and nothing upon their heads. They roar and cry before their gods, and men do at the feast when one is dead. The priests also take off their garments and clothe their wives and children, whether it be evil that one doth unto them or good, they are not able to recompense it. They can neither set up a king nor put him down. In like manner, they can they can neither give riches nor money, though a man make a vow unto them and keep it not, they will not require it. They can save no man from death, neither deliver the weak from the mighty. They cannot restore a blind man to his sight, nor help any man in his distress. They cannot show no mercy to the widow, nor do good to the fatherless. Their gods of wood and which are overlaid with gold and silver are like the stones that be hewed out of the mountain. They that worship them shall be confounded. How should a man then think and say that they are gods when even the Chaldeans themselves dishonor them? Who, if they shall see one dumb that cannot speak, they bring him and entereth a bell that he may speak, and though he were able to understand, yet they cannot understand this themselves, and leave them, for they have no knowledge. The woman also with cords about them, string in the ways, barn for perfume. But if
Burn,
any of hmm, brand,
burn, burn.
they burn brand for perfume. But if any of them drawn by some that passeth by, lie with him, she reproacheth her fellow that she was not, uh, though as worthy as herself, nor her cords broken. Whatsoever is done among them is false. How may it then be, though or said that they are gods? They are
Actually
made
says how then be thought or said that they are gods. Go ahead.
They are made of carpenters and goldsmiths. They can be nothing else than the workmen will have them to be. And they themselves that made them can never continue long. How should then the things that are made of them be gods? For they left lies and reproaches to them that come after. For when there cometh any war or plague upon them, the priests consult with themselves, where they may be hidden with them. How then cannot men perceive that they be no gods, which can neither save themselves from war nor from plagues? For seeing they be but of wood and overlaid with silver and gold, it shall be known hereafter that they are false. And it shall manifestly appear to all nations and kings that they are no gods, but the works of men's hands, and that there is no work of God in them. Who then may not know that they are no gods? For neither can they set up a king in the land, nor give rain unto them. neither can they judge their own cause nor redress a wrong, being unable, for they are as crows between heaven and earth. Whereupon, when fire falleth upon the house of gods of wood, or laid over with gold or silver, their priests will flee away and escape, but they themselves shall be burned and sundered like beams. Moreover, they cannot withstand any king or enemies. How can it then be uh, though or uh, thought?
How they
Thoughts, yeah.
thought this
How can it then be thought or said that they be gods? Neither are those gods of wood and laid over with silver or gold, able to escape either from themselves or robbers,
from
whose
thieves.
gold from thieves and either from thieves or robbers, whose gold and silver and garments wherewith they are clothed, they are they that are strong do take and go away withal. Neither are they able to help themselves, either able to help themselves. Therefore, it is better to be a king that showeth his power, or else a profitable vessel in a house which the owner shall have use of, than such false gods, or to be a door in a house to keep such things safe as be therein, than such false god, or a pillar of wood in a place, than such a false god. For sun, moon, and stars, being bright and sent to do their office, are obedient. In like manner, the lightning, when it breaketh forth, is easy to be seen, and after the same manner the wind bloweth in every country. And when God commanded the clouds to go over the whole world, they do as they are bidden. And the fire sent from above to consume hills and woods, doeth as it is commanded. But these are like unto them, neither in show no power. Wherefore it is neither to be supposed nor said that they are no gods, seeing they will neither to judge cause nor judge causes, nor to do good unto men, knowing therefore that they are no gods. Fear them not, for they can neither curse nor bless kings, neither can they show signs in the heavens among the heathen, nor shine as the sun, nor give light as the moon. The beasts are better than they, for they can get under a covert and help themselves. It is then by no means manifested unto us that they are gods. Therefore fear them not, for as a scarecrow in a garden of cucumbers keepeth nothing, so are their gods of wood and laid over with silver and gold. And likewise, their gods of wood and laid over with silver and gold are like to a white throne in an
Thorn,
orchard. White a white what?
thorn.
A white thorn in an orchard, that every bird sitteth upon, as also to a dead body that is cast into the dark. And ye shall know them to be no gods by the bright purple that rotteth upon them, and they themselves afterwards shall be eaten, and shall be a reproach in the country.
All right. So you can see it's given a full description of these idols that people make. And it's like they can't do none of this stuff. So why would men be foolish enough to even believe that they're idols? All right. Let's go to Psalms 81. You're going to read verses 13 through 14.
One, the book of Psalms, chapter 81 and verse 13. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways, I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries.
Wanted to put this precept into the lesson because today, in today's modern times, we have a lot of our brothers and sisters in this truth that haven't fully actually repented. They're, they're playing games with this truth. And he's telling us, oh, that my people have. Just think if we actually just kept the commandments and just did the things that he asked us to do. He says, I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. What's so hard about that? That if we want to get up out of this captivity, we want the Lord to come back and get his vengeance for us. We want him to come back and flip the script as he promised. All he's waiting for is for us to do what he asked us to do. And that's repent and keep his commandments. And it seems like many of our brothers just don't get it. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5. We're going to read verse 29.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 29. Oh, that there were such an heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever.
How is that hard to understand? Oh, that there were such an heart in them that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. That's all he's telling us. Keep the commandments. Keep my commandments. That's all we keep. Keep the commandments. And one of the commandments is telling us, don't make images. How hard is that? Just don't do it. We're all guilty of it because we all have some kind of images somewhere. We got pictures in our houses. We've got, all kinds of sculptures in our yards and gardens. You know what I mean? All of us are guilty of it. You got to ask yourself, if the Lord came back, would he be happy? All of us got TVs in our homes. All of us watch, just about watch movies, cartoons, TV shows, listen to the radio, play video games. Let's go to Deuteronomy, to stay in Deuteronomy, go to chapter 32 and read verses 26 through 29.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 26. And it says, I said, I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and let the Lord hath not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them, or that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end.
That they, meaning us Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, would consider our latter end. Because as the scriptures have told us, we don't consider, we don't take the time to consider at all. As it says, an ox knoweth, what is that, Isaiah 1 and 3, an ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. We don't even take the time to even think about who we are, where we come from, where are we going, what do we need to do to get up out of this captivity. Many of our people think they're free. A lot of our people don't even understand that we're still in captivity. They have no clue. They have no idea. Why is that? Because we are a nation void of counsel. Neither is there any understanding in them, meaning there's no understanding in us. He says, oh, that they were wise and they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. That's part of the problem with our people. Too much pride, too much arrogancy. And instead of listening to a simple commandment such as this commandment, not to make these images, we'd rather forsake what the Lord says and do what we want to do. All right, let's go back to the book of Baruch, chapter 6. You're going to read verse 73.
Book of Baruch, chapter 6 and verse 73. A better therefore is the just man that hath known none idols, for he shall be far from reproach.
Go ahead and read it again and read it real clear.
Better therefore is the just man that hath none idols, for he shall be far from reproach.
This is the scripture speaking. Better therefore is the just man that hath none idols. The Bible is telling you, if you don't have no idols, you're better off. Better off. Just don't make them. Don't have them. Don't worship them. Don't set up idols in your heart. Steer clear of spiritual idolatry. Get rid of all that hate and envy that we hold against each other. That murderous spirit we have against each other. Get rid of all of it. We'll be better off because of it. We as a nation would be better off if we had no idols. None. Zilch. Nada. Some of our brothers may disagree, but you can't disagree with what the scriptures say. It's not us saying it, it's the scripture saying it. Better, therefore, is the just man that hath none idols, for he shall be far from reproach. Nobody's going to be able to look at you and be like, what are you talking about? Look at you, hypocrite. Look at what you got. Look at what you're doing. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verses 13 through 14.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
And with that, we're going to say shalom, most high Christ bless. Enjoy the rest of your Sabbath. And Lord willing, we will see you next Sabbath to bring out the second part of this lesson, not bowing down to idols. Okay? Shalom.